Alright, further to my micronutrients rant, I wanted to give people a little analogy. I actually gave it for something like a preview. I had a consultation with somebody, and if they're going to be watching this, they're going to be like, ah, I saw the preview of this! And we kind of went over this, but I'm going to do the video so that people can kind of understand nutrients, but more specifically micronutrients to the best of their understanding, and why a lot of people are making a lot of mistakes when explaining this to. Now this is dangerous advice, because this is the kind of advice that people don't want to give, because it's generally better to have a surplus of a micronutrient than it is to have a deficiency in a micronutrient. But I'm so not fearful of anyone having a staggering deficiency in a host of micronutrients that I'm going to put out this groundbreaking analogy for people. Now, think of your nutrients, all nutrients. Let's have some ideas of nutrients. We got carbs in general, we've got protein, we've got fat, we've got fiber, we've got, like I said, that fiber, we've got iron, we've got vitamin C, we've got vitamin D3, we've got fish oils, you got all these, all these things that you should have. You're getting enough magnesium, you're getting enough zinc, how's your calcium levels, you're getting enough phosphorus, you're getting enough potassium, stuff like that, right? We know all those things, okay? Now this isn't going to be specific to any of those, but it's going to be an analogy that can help you in future when trying to work out how to eat, and if you're a little bit focused on the wrong thing here. Now, if we assume the body is a soldier going to war against the terrorist. The terrorist can be whomsoever of your choosing. Maybe it's a government regime, maybe it's your next door neighbor, whoever the terrorists are, imagine they're going to war with the terrorists. Now he starts off life butt naked, no weapon, no nothing, and he goes to war and he's just like, yeah, against a terrorist. Okay? Terrorists, they're packing though, they just shoot him in the head. He's like, ah! He's like, ah! He's gone, right? So we start giving him things, and I love analogies, by the way. Get into the analogy zone, all right? The metaphorical land. All right, we got to give him things like protein, okay? So protein, if you imagine protein as a weapon, okay? You give him a couple grams of protein, 5 grams of protein, that's not enough protein. What you've basically done is you've just given him a pea shooter. So next time he goes to war and he's like, ah! And they're like, and he's like, ah! And he's dead again, right? Okay, so you give him better amounts of protein. Eventually, the protein becomes a better weapon. Maybe it's a knife, maybe it's a gun. Eventually, you get to a decent protein level. Let's say it's 80 grams, something like that, right? 80 grams, and he's got himself an assault rifle. Now he's packing. Now he walks in there like, he's like, nah, he's got a good gun. So you got enough protein. So then as you start adding protein, what you're doing is you're giving him extra rounds in the gun. He can go on for longer. But what starts happening is you get what we call diminishing returns. That a gun is great. Extra rounds are good, but if you have 2 more clips, it doesn't make you doubly as powerful. You just have more ammo for the same gun. It doesn't make you an army. Like, for instance, if you had an army, you had a guy that was you had one guy in your army, and then you give him a gun, your army just became like 500 times as good. Because before it was just a guy that would fight, now he's got a gun. He's awesome. But if you give him just one gun, he's going to kill a few people, he's going to be killed because he's going to have not enough bullets. So you give him extra clips, and he's got extra clips, he can kill more people. But if you keep giving him extra clips over and over again, he doesn't keep getting super great. He's just got more clips for the same gun. He'll still be mobbed if like 5 people attacked him. Doesn't matter how much ammo you've got, you're still just one person to shoot. So, it's not that great. So giving him all these extra clips, your proteins are 150 grams, 175 grams, 200 grams, 225, 250, 255, 3, 4, 5. Whoa, it's a lot of protein. All you're doing is giving him extra clips, and he's got loads of clips for this, for this gun he's got. But he's just still one man, he can't shoot anything. So you're just giving him all this protein, but you can't really do anything. All it's doing is weighing him down. It's making him slower, a bit clumsy, and he's got all these clips. It's not really helping. So we're going to need another macronutrient maybe. Let's call it carbs. So carbs, let's say carbs are boots, right? You don't have not hardly any carbs in your diet. Like you got like 10 grams of carbs. You just sent your soldier to war with some flip-flops on, which is all right. But now he's got to go through ice to get to the terrorist. And his feet are getting cold. He's got these crappy flip-flops on. The flip-flops are breaking. Stones are his feet is like, trying to shoot. Bursts into the terrorist like, my feet. And he's like, too late. Bang. He's like, what was that? Too late. He dead. So You give a decent amount of carbs, you add them to the work ethic, you keep adding carbs, you want carbs as high as possible. I'm not going to say anything in grams, that's more of a complicated number. Anyway, so he's got things, eventually he's got some boots on. Now, right, he's got some decent Army Standard issue boots. You keep adding carbs, and what you're getting is, you're thickening up the leather, so they're becoming sturdier. He's getting better boots, you know, the laces are more heavy duty, steel toe boots maybe, thicker tread, better boots for the army. But what you start getting as you add thicker and thicker leather is the same thing you had with the gun. These are really sturdy boots, you can keep tracking. These boots are made for walking, that's what I'm gonna do. But one of these days, these boots are gonna walk. Anyway, so you keep adding this carbs, but really you're just weighing him down and making him sluggish. So now he's walking slower. Now he's more of a sitting duck. He's easy to be here. If anyone's getting where this analogy is going, feel free to stop the video and move on to something else. I won't mind. Anyway, so he's got these boots on. Let's say fat. Fat may be a helmet or the jacket, whatever it is. Let's call it the helmet. You give him a helmet and he's got like a paper hat on if you don't have enough carbs. So, you know, shrapnel comes in the head and he's like, he's dead. You know, he's like, comes in to shoot, bang, shoots off, bings off his head. Why did that happen? Because you gave him enough fat. So the helmet protected him from the straight shot from the bullet. Yay! Good helmet. But the thicker, the more fats you add, doesn't make you just get a better and better helmet, so you just get better and better. I mean, like, you could put like a whole tank on somebody's head. That's awesome. Off they go to, you know, we're going to put this tank on you. It's a couple of tons. You're just going to put that right on your head there. Just balance that and go off to war. So you can't just keep adding something. More of something doesn't make it better and better and better and better and better infinitum. It doesn't work like that. So you got to have a balance, a point where, you know, you're not just wearing a cap back to front, you know, you've got an actual army issue, what am I talking about? Helmet, maybe a slightly better one, maybe it's got a flashlight on it or something. And now you've got a decent helmet on. And let's say the fibre is closed or whatever. If you don't have enough fibre, you're going to go in that naked. You're in the rough terrain, the sun's going to be beating down, and you're going to get skin burn, or you're going to be out in the snow, you're going to get frozen, you're going to freeze to death. Long before you get to the terrace, you're going to get killed. But if you've got enough fibre, you've got clothes on, you're good. But if you add too much fibre, you start having over 100 grams of fibre. What you're wearing is the thickest jacket you could possibly wear. You've got giant boot, heavy buckle on it. Your pants are thick and laden with metal strips for protection, and you're really good and protected. These clothes are protecting you, but trudging through, you know, you're in the middle of a firefight, you're like trying to turn around because it's so heavy. There's a good amount, and then there's too much. Now, what you get with the micros aren't the jacket, they're not the helmet, they're not the gun, they're not the boots. They're the tiny things. They're the little bit of rations he keeps in this pocket here. That's your zinc. You've got your calcium. That's the radio that he radios back to base with. He's got all these things that are necessary. Yeah, you've got to have them. You know, he's got his little side knife that he keeps in his boot, yeah? Maybe that's vitamin D3. You know, maybe fish oil is, you know, certain laces on the boots. You know, things like that. You know, I'm not gonna flesh out every single one of these. And what you get with these people is, okay, so, especially the supplement companies trying to sell you micros like, this is the third world or something. They'll be like, oh man, you're deficient in all this. Have 4,000 times the RDA of everything and you'll be good. Foolishness. What you get is, specifically with the metals, you get this diminishing returns that comes up pretty quickly, and then followed by that, you start getting massively negative results of superloading these things. So, for those people like, oh, gotta get micronutrients, maybe you have enough. Maybe you don't have to get micronutrients. Maybe you'd be good with some ice cream. Maybe. I don't know your diet. Check your diet. Have a look. It's easy to find out. Things like nutritiondata.self.com, whatever. Things like those things. They're really easy to tell you how much micronutrient in various foods. Just have a look at your diet. Have a varied diet. Eat here, eat there. Eat foods that make sense. That's it. That'll do. You don't have to kill yourself making sure that I don't like white rice. I like white rice. I don't like brown rice. So I've got to make sure I have brown rice because it's got the micronutrients. Oh, I hate this. I'm just, but I've got to do it. It's not like, it ain't that serious, man. So like, what your micronutrients are, like things like a radio. So radio is your calcium. It's calcium. So you got your radio on. You good? You good? I'm good. But then you add some more calcium, and what that adds is you don't get a radio that can actually fly off your shoulder and attack the terrorists for you, kill 700 of them, and radio in a massive nuclear strike and blows up all the... No, what you get is like a video screen. So now you can see your colonel and be like, hey colonel, Yeah, I'm in the thing, and it's good. Really pretty, really nice, but not actually that useful. You could already talk to him, he already understood you were good, you didn't actually need to see each other. I mean, you know, think of how many conversations you've had in your life. Would they have really been helped if you were able to see the person? Like, you know, hey mum, how you doing? But now I can see you, now I know that you love me. Anyway, so like, it doesn't really help. So you get this thing, it does help a bit, but it's not really, it wasn't as helpful as the first few grams that you had, you know, the first few 1,000 milligrams that you had. Now it's like, okay, it helps, but it's not great. Then after that, what you get is, oh, maybe if we put a big satellite on the thing, so now if you get in a really far place, we can definitely hear you, and the sound quality and the picture quality is extra crisp. It's in HD. Now you got an iPhone 5 on your shoulder, a specially tailor-made gold-plated iPhone 5, serial number 004 from the special collector's range. All these things, they're just making this thing on your shoulder now. First, you've gone through the diminishing returns phase where it's not really helping great. You're long into now, what you're into is, actually, this is weighing down my left shoulder. Like, it's kind of in the way. I've got to walk around like this because of the satellite that's coming out of it. It's helpful, it's a good thing, but it's interfering with everything else. Because if I'm like this, I'm not able to shoot as well. And this is what happens with a lot of these micronutrients. You know, things like fiber, things like iron, stuff like that. When you start having too much of them, they start screwing around with other elements of your digestive system. You start losing performance elsewhere because you're not made to, I mean, like, this sounds crazy to you. Iron is just metal. If unlimited quantities of it were good, you would just eat steel, wouldn't you? You'd just eat metal. So obviously there's a limit to how much is good, because otherwise you would just be sitting and be like, whoa, you're going to finish that steel bar. But that much is ridiculous. You're not meant to have grams of it. You're meant to have really small amounts of it that, you know, go around the body. And if you have too much of it, it screws with you. So when you're thinking of your diet, when you're about to preach the obvious, oh, the micronutrients, oh, this isn't a good carb because it has less micros in it. This is a good carb because the micros are high. It's not that simple. It's not, food is not good and bad. Food has and has not. And sometimes it's better to not have than have, because really, if you look at it, we're trying to survive, and survival is based on the energy that we have. Anything that has more energy in it is more good. So how can we have this duality where if a thing has lots of calories in it, it's bad, but if it has lots of micros in it, it's good. So it has more of something that you need, so it's good, but also because it has more of something that you need, it's also bad. Wait, what? See, so this is the problems that people have when you start thinking of good and bad. It's not good and bad, it's convenient towards your own goal. That's the way in which your diet actually works. You're working towards a target of things. It's a balancing act of lots of variables. And really, it's not really that serious. You don't need to overthink it. And sometimes when people using their really small, minuscule view on things, they overthink things to the point where they actually screw themselves over by trying to be too clever. And that is the point I was going for. Sometimes it wouldn't kill you to just go with what the army issued. You'll probably be fine. bradleyaidanjohnson at gmail.com. If you have any queries or theories or suggestions or anything, let me know. Other than that, like the video, like my Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and of course subscribe.